We want to hear from them. We want them to know that it is okay to talk about when they're not okay.
It is so okay to talk about if you're not okay. We do firmly believe in therapy.
Those factors would give me any indication that he would take his life. You wouldn't convince me that if you paid me $3 billion. I would never have believed that he was in a place to even consider something like that, which is why it's so important. Michelle's been saying lately, check on your strong ones.
You bring these boys back, don't be surprised if Detroit have a no-fly zone.
And we saw the elevation and the rise, even though he was hurt a little bit, we saw the elevation and rise of DeAndre Swift.
Like, we're Lions fans. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a Lions fan first. Like, do I want Matthew to succeed? Absolutely. I'm just old enough to experience where I've lost those big players already in my life. So a lot of this like reaction, I can tell, is like this younger generation who that's all they ever have known.
There's people like myself and you who remember those moments, and we get taken back to a point in time where we're like, oh my gosh, remember this and this. But then I was also just painting the picture of what the environment was like for all of the new Aaliyah fans who are like 15 years old, who weren't even alive when she was alive.
For him to get a $10,000 fine, knowing that he's a multi-million-dollar coach with a multi-million-dollar contract with Wisconsin, is literally a slap on the wrist.
I love being around intentional people who are always looking for the best in other people and the best in themselves. Marianne Williamson, she used to say, it's like someone would say, who do you think you are, God's gift to the world? Like that's an insult. And to recognize, you know what? You are God's gift to the world. So if I'm God's gift to the world, how am I being that gift today?
To ascribe the fact that ratings have dropped because the Oscars have these categories in, for me, makes no sense. It's a celebration of the best of Hollywood. Celebrate them on TV.
We're seeing a lot of shows. I mean, this one in particular, this is all about movies and such. We're seeing a lot of shows go to streaming, and I think that's scaring a lot of the major networks.
It was, kind of fast, of course, but to me, I was like, oh, there I go,
And then turn around and be like, who want my autograph now? Who wants a photo?
Now who want my autograph?
And I always knew that, my whole thing is, for a long time, I was always doing other things. I was always making films. All of the films that I did while I was a full-time faculty member at a large university.
So as Steve Kerr asked, Coach Steve Kerr asked, and as well as myself and as well as many people, what are we going to do? That's all I wanted to know. That's all I want to know. They need all the strength in the world, but they need answers.
I, at first, wanted to do it. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, maybe I don't. Because, I'm putting, at that point, the hardest thing that I had ever been through, something that was permeating every day through my life, on display for, arguably the biggest stage in the world. You're talking Oprah.
What are some of the challenges that you all have faced? And then through those challenges, where is it that you overcame them?
But the biggest challenge is just really believing in yourself, honestly. Even when you don't necessarily feel the support from others yet, just believing in the mission that you have.
All right, so during quarantine, D-Nice, CQ, salute to D-Nice. He was on there, started the CQ DJing in his living room. At the same time, NFL, Baltimore Ravens Hoff, Ed Reed was also DJing in his garage. So every night.
That part I didn't know.
Spice is he's a character. Spice has had a few cookies.
His videos were reviewing your cookies was absolutely hilarious, but it was so Spice. It was so Spice.
I'm in my dressing room and Dick Clark knocks on the door and he says, okay, Jane, it's 10 minutes to showtime. and our computer just fried. We have a new computer board being flown in by helicopter, and the programmer is sitting on the board as it's suspended from the helicopter as we speak. But he's not going to be able to put it in the desk until maybe 12, 13 minutes into the show. So we're going to have to fill for the first 12 to 13 minutes of a live TV show.
Wow. He came from an island where it was just, you know, people that he was familiar with, people of his own race, his own color, background, everything else, and then going into New York City, and that was a whole, he took you to a whole whirlwind when he was telling the story of what he was not accustomed to, you know, people looking down upon him because of his race, and, you know, him trying to get into acting. And
I want to be like them, but I just had this picture, or I envisioned that. But then once I lived in LA and I started working on Ellen's show, the Ellen DeGeneres show, and then I worked on The Talk during their first season, there was this moment when I was sitting there with all the ladies, and they walked on stage one by one as the theme song of The Talk came on. And I always got excited. Even when I went to the Oprah show taping or any other talk show taping, I would always get excited seeing these women or men coming onto the set with their theme song. There's just something about it that just inspired me with all of them. I remember that day and I said, oh my God, I don't want to wait for the phone to ring. I want to do what they're doing.
My elders, my mothers and my aunties' friends, you know how they talk. You know how aunties talk.
Yep.
You know, I do that singing and dancing, baby. I'm like, no, I ain't doing all that rap stuff. That's kind of noise to me, but when you do the singing and dancing, you look just like Michael and James Brown himself. So at that point, I'm getting torn between two worlds.
Yeah.
And in the middle of all this chaos, there's my legendary uncle Tony T. Funk Austin, who played for James Brown and Kool and the Gang. And that's how I discovered the realms of what we call funk.
When did that shift happen where you're just like, okay, I am a fan of them, but I want to grow, I want to grow my brand. I want them to take me seriously as a correspondent, as a media personality.
Well, the audience started changing. So that's when you change, you know, when your audience started shifting and the different guests start coming in. That's when I started making.
Draw that core audience in. How do you all come up with what you're going to talk about for the week on your show?
You know what? A lot of times our topics come from our conversations that we have offline.
My light-skinned counterpart, as we call each other, light-skinned brothers.
Who my clients on a whole level. And so, yeah, we speak mainly about business because that's what I love to do, but it absolutely resonates in your personal life as well.
Huge prominent coaching change in Colorado with primetime Deion Sanders going to Colorado. And I thank you so much, Heard That Nation, for watching and for listening. And as I always end the show, take care, stay safe. I'm out of here.